Doa, actually. That's an intro for you. Squishy Stitches and Stitchy Stitches. Woohoo! Alright, so it's been a while, and I do apologize for that. I totally did not mean to just drop everything flat on its face. Again. So, that was never my plan. It was never my ideal, so thank you for bearing with me while we went through this. So, I'm back. I know I had said for Stitch With Me's it would be Snow from Maxine Gadd. However, there's a problem. Big problem. I had it sitting on a shelf under an outlet, and in that outlet I had a wax warmer plugged in, and apparently it wasn't level and the wax spilt all over Snow. I know there wasn't much done, but there was no saving the fabric, and so I decided, because I didn't like the fabric, and it's really hard to stitch off of a paper pattern while talking, I decided I would do a different project, one where I have it digital so I can use the app everybody knows, Pattern Keeper. And so I decided it would be Onde by Melanie Delon. It's a beautiful mermaid. We will all enjoy watching it unfold as well. I'm still going to do Snow. I've already got fabric for her. I've restarted her. She's just not going to be filmed live. At least not as part of my regular Stitch With Me series. So, I'm sorry. I was completely demotivated by losing that bit of work and the several hours we had spent together on that project. But I am looking forward to doing this one. This is a pattern that the moment Michelle Sayeda put it up as a new release, I fell in love with it. I had to buy it right away. I just didn't have the fabric for it. And for a while I was debating between this one and another one. It's the, I think it's called Starlight and Bright. It's the Rainbow Bright one. And I did post a poll on Instagram, and I asked all my friends, and it was pretty evenly split. So I made the executive decision to do Onde, even though she's a bit bigger, so it'll take a bit longer for us to do her, because I already had the pattern. The fabric would have fit both, but I had the pattern for Onde. I don't have the pattern for this Rainbow Bright one. So we are doing the mermaid, and she is absolutely gorgeous. And I do love her very much, and I am looking forward to working on her with you. But so this is the very beginning of it. I am doing a voiceover on this one just because I wanted to test out how speeding things up will work. Just so that, you know, it'll still be the same stitching time for me, but that way I can stitch 4 or 5 hours all at once, have it recorded, upload it, and voice over that. And you can still see her coming together, and we can still chat, but it's not all at once, or not real time. Just to cut down the time constraints. Right now, what I'm doing, as long as this is synced up properly with the video, is I'm showing how I do sort of a weird pin stitch thing on Lugana. So it's kind of hard to describe, but it basically works just like a pin stitch, but rather than going through the fabric, you just go through the holes. And so far it seems to be pretty secure. Oh, there's my leg. Apparently I had a knot. Which I do get those occasionally. We all do. I don't use thread conditioner or anything, so it's kind of a whether I get it or not. Seems like it was a complicated knot. And we're just flipping it back over. But yeah, so I just wanted to see about speeding up the process. That, and I have an idea for a different type of video, which I will. I'm trying to figure out whether I want to just explain the whole concept to you or just throw it out there. But I think I'll explain it. What I'm gonna call it Creepy Stitchy. So what it is I will be stitching and talking about a creepy topic. It can be true crime, it can be paranormal, whatever, because those are things I'm very interested in, passionate in, and I would just love to share those passions with you, but I know they're not for everybody, and so I wanted to have its own series of Creepy Stitchy. I'm going to do that with my pattern Ninja Dragonlings by Jasmine Beckett Smith. Let me take a look. It's on my phone. And I already started that one, so you won't see it from the beginning. And I'll still work on that normally, but that will be the one I use for Creepy Stitchy. So I'll be talking about paranormal things, true crime, phobias, whatever I feel like at that time. Most of it will be, I'm going to be doing research and looking at all aspects of the stories and explaining it to you. And we'll go over, if it's a true crime, we'll go over all the suspects and the motives and how the cops came to the conclusion that it was this person versus this person and all of that. If it's paranormal, it will be basically the same thing, just it's paranormal. I'm not one that believes every paranormal thing, but I don't completely disbelieve, I guess. I just find it very fascinating, and I am always watching paranormal shows, ghost shows, all of that. I love them so much, and I just think that would be a fun way to share that with you all. And like I said, I know it's not for everybody. So I decided it would be best to... Hi, Dusty. My dog is begging for attention. His name is Dusty. He's a big old guy. But I just thought it would be best to divide that into its own series. That way the people who are not interested at all can skip over it. And then those who are can join me. Because I think that would be fun. And it's just something that I personally really enjoy. I think I've said that like 5 times now. But we can repeat ourselves. I'm not a well-versed talker, I guess. I'm not an eloquent talker. I'm looking for the name. Ninja Dragon Lanes by Jasmine Beckett Griffith Stewart. I don't know why I was thinking Stewart. Probably because I have a lot of Amy Stewart patterns. I have a lot of page going. I have, I think, 9 or 10 with this one added in. I had thought about starting a new project for the Creepy Stitchy, but I decided against it. But with this project, what I'm going to be doing is diagonal stitching with parking, but I'm going to be doing it my way. The first little bit, I do it the traditional way while you go row by row down the diagonal. And I think that's a great way to start the patterns just because it gets the threads really well established. It gives you an area to tie off in, all of that. But later on the next diagonal, you'll get to see how I like to do it. It's a little bit different. And I am missing one of the colors, so we will have to go back and stitch that at a later time, after I have a chance to buy it. I went to Joann's to get it, and they didn't have it. Excuse me, I'm getting a drink. I have a giant, and I do mean giant, coffee cup of Tinkerbell that says Magical Mornings, which it's not really morning, it's evening, but they can be magical too. Any time of day is great for Tinkerbell. She's my favorite. She's the only Disney character who matters, in my opinion. So, you know, all you people who love Belle and Sleeping Beauty, I'm sorry. Tinkerbell rock socks. And so I've got this stitch along going with me. I'm just going through my plans for what I'm doing, so you know that I've been thinking very deeply about this. So there's this one, which is just my regular stitch with me's. We're going to work on Onde. I think that's how you say it. And then there's going to be the creepy stitchies. Those I will be doing on the 13th and 31st of every month. So if there's a month that doesn't have a 31st, there will only be one creepy stitchy. If there's a month that has two, or has the 31st, there will be two. I will also be doing regular floss tube updates. I'm thinking every other week, just because when I am working it is quite a lot to throw in a stitch with me, a regular floss tube, the creepy stitchy. It's just a lot. I work an hour away from home, so my days, even my short days, are 11 hours long. And so because of that, I just figure it would be best to split it up. So there's that. Another thing I'm looking into doing for just regular nights when I feel like hopping on is doing Twitch streams. Twitch is sort of like a YouTube live. You go on, people can type questions and comments, and I can respond in real time. So it would be a way for people to hang out. I will let you know when I plan on doing that. Probably Wednesday nights are going to be my night for that. But I don't know. There's no guarantees yet. I have a few kinks I have to work out with that one yet. Mainly whenever I go live, people can't hear what I'm saying. So that sucks. And just give me one moment. I gotta go do something. I'm gonna pause this and then I'll be back. Alright, sorry about that. I wasn't sure it was actually recording sound, and I didn't want to spend as long as this video is talking and having to redo it. Because, you know, I've done that, and that's not fun. I'm not a very verbose person. So, talking is... I'm a listener, but I like to talk. I'm just not used to talking, because I live with a husband who can talk a mile a minute. He can talk for 2 hours, and all I do is uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And he'll think we've had a great conversation. He gets it from his mom. She was a teacher for 30 years, and she just learned how to talk over everybody. Because when you teach kindergarten, that's pretty much what you have to do. So those are my plans for what I'm going to be doing with this channel. I did make it my resolution that I was going to put a lot more energy into the channel so that we can enjoy each other. So thank you for bearing with me while I was gone for so long. I do apologize for that. I kind of went down a very deep rabbit hole for a while of planner stickers. So I've always been a planner girl. I always have a planner going. I use it consistently, and I just got sucked down this rabbit hole of planner stickers where it's decorative planning, and you can make your planners very pretty with all these stickers, and I do enjoy it. And for a while I was just like, I can make these. And so every waking minute besides working and sleep and eating was dedicated to making these stickers and perfecting them. And I think I put out a really decent product. And I did put them out on Etsy, and I have had a few sales. but it just takes so much time that I was obsessed for a few months. Wait. Oh. Okay, well, so that's what I was doing, and it was fine. Everything worked well. It's just it was a bit of a pain. I shouldn't say that. It wasn't a bit of a pain. It was just a big time suck. I made stickers. It took a whole day or two to design them. And then it would take a whole day or two to make the pictures to post on Etsy, and then social media, and blah, blah, blah. And it was great. It was a good time. But it took so much time. I didn't have time for anything else. I dedicated several months to that. And I'm not saying I'm stopping. I'm just saying I'm taking a step back. So, since I'm taking a step back from that, I can focus more on my YouTube, which is what I wanted to do. I don't know. I wanted to do it. I wanted to see if I could, and I can. And I can still make stickers. I can still design stickers. I can even make stickers for our community, which, hey, look, first diagonal's done. Woohoo! That's about 50 stitches right there, minus 2 because I didn't have the color. So I just skipped over them, and now we're working on the second diagonal. But, so I wanted to try it. I go down rabbit holes. It's just, the problem with any sort of home-based business is they really do suck all your time. And I was really dedicated to it, but then it was just like, I want to spend time with my family. I don't want to do this, so I decided to stop. When I design stickers for myself, I'll post them on Etsy, but I'm not going to rush to get, I need a design every week, because that gets expensive, because you have to buy the clip art, and you have to buy the license, and then you have to do everything, and you have to have all these things. You have to plan for taxes, which, if I'm keeping the shop open, which I think I will at this point, and just sell ones that I designed for myself. But trying to think of what I've said, or what I'm saying. Yeah, there's no easy way to run a successful business. It all takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and the fact is I just don't have enough time or enough energy, and I don't want to take time away from my kid, because he is very important to me. So that's where I disappeared to, as I got that idea. I was super excited about it, and I just went for it. Just like all in, went for it, which is great. It was fine. It just, eventually I got burnt out, like I always do, and decided to take a step back and make life easier for myself. So yeah, there was that. If you want to check it out, it's Squishy Stickers on Etsy and on Instagram. I wanted to go with the whole jellyfish theme, so I did, because I do like jellyfish. I think they're very beautiful creatures, fascinating, all of that. I mean, how does something without a brain just swim around the ocean? So that was my planner sticker foray, and it was really great, and I am proud of the stickers I designed. I think they're beautiful. There's nothing more current. There's no winter or anything, because I kind of burnt out in the fall after spending all summer designing how I wanted the pages laid out, making sure my machine settings were right, my printer settings were right, my cut settings were right, which they still weren't perfect because I have to calibrate the machine again. But I can do that if I sell any. And I was thinking, I can make some for Mania, I can make some for keeping track of stitch counts for people who are into planners and do want to do that. If you're interested, just comment down below. If not, no big deal. So, like I said, that was all summer. That's where I disappeared to down this deep, dark rabbit hole. In the fall, we took a trip to Chicago, which I will cover more in my next floss tube, which will be not this... No, I can do it this Friday. It'll be this Friday. I'll film it and put it up over the weekend. And I'll have videos and pictures. We left after work on a Friday evening, and we stayed at a hotel in Michigan City. I live in Michigan, so it was kind of a midway point. We were driving down through this big old storm, big huge storm, like lightning everywhere. It was pretty. It was pretty. And the rain wasn't so heavy that it was like, oh my God, we're gonna die. It was just normal rain with lots of lightning. But as we're driving down, we see these weird, like, cloud-looking things close to the ground, and they're kind of just moving among the trees. At first we thought it was a fire, but it wasn't. And as we're driving by, it starts swirling more and more, so we watched it swirl up and turn into a tornado. And we drove right by it. Because there was no choice. It was in the medium between the northbound and southbound highway. So it was either, stop and deal with this very dangerous situation forming right next to us that at first we had no idea what it was. And then, or keep going and get away from it. And so we got away from it. And we went down to Michigan City. We stayed in a hotel there. I think it was a microtel. And it was okay. It was very brown. The walls were medium brown. The floor was dark brown, had dark wood, and it was all fine. It wasn't filthy, but it wasn't as upkept as, I would expect a hotel for $120 a night to be. But no big deal. And we have this thing, wherever we go to a hotel, the elevator is always broken. Every hotel we've ever gone to, the elevator is broken. I think it's the universe's way of saying, Shannon, you need to take the stairs. Just take the stairs, hon. Because, I do need to take the stairs more often. But so we got to the hotel, we snuggled in for the night, and just went to sleep, which was fine. I have a hard time sleeping in a hotel, so I took some Tylenol PM and put in my earbuds and a blindfold, and I slept all right. My husband didn't sleep at all, as per the norm, because he doesn't sleep well in hotels either. Riker was out like a light. Riker slept. He sleeps anywhere. He thought it was the best hotel ever, and he wanted to live there. Had a little mini fridge, it had a TV, he was happy with it. Then the next day, was it the next day? Yeah, it was the next day. We decided we were going to go to IKEA, because none of us have ever been there. We're looking at ways to get more organized, because organization is hard. It really is. You really need to develop a system there, and I am not good at it. I am so not good at organization. Oh, And with the cross stitch, you can see how I'm, rather than parking after each row, I'm just carrying the thread down to the end of the diagonal. That's how I do diagonal stitching, is I carry that color all the way down to the end of the diagonal, and then I park it on the next diagonal at the next highest spot. And I do that with each color. When I park, I start with the lowest color that's parked and work my way up. And then for any colors that aren't in there, I work my way from the top to the bottom. So I kind of go bottom to top, top to bottom, and then start over on the next diagonal. And for me, it's been working really well. When I was doing normal diagonal stitching where you'd go row by row, I could only bust out a couple hundred a day. And now I can bust out almost 1,000 a day. So it's a big difference for me. And I just figured I'd show you guys and explain it a little better. The next video I will be filming it live, not voiceover, so I'll be able to explain it better or answer any questions you have. So where was I with the story? We were at IKEA. I did not know that place was that big. It's 3 stories. 3 stories tall. Huge warehouse. I did not know that. It was pretty cool. I'd go back. There's a lot of organizational ideas, and there's some we want to buy when we go back, because we are going back next year, because we didn't see all we wanted to see in Chicago, even though we've been there before. I'll keep going. So we went there, and as we were driving back to the hotel, because I think we were going to just grab some food, watch a movie, go swimming at the pool, I saw a sign for Legoland. Legoland for my kid who is obsessed with Legos. Okay, you know those Fisher-Price toy boxes? They're like 3 feet by 2 feet. His is half filled with Legos. We have like 2 cubic feet of Lego. And he just got more for Christmas. He got like $400 more of Legos for Christmas. That's all this kid wants, is Legos. That's all this kid has wanted for years. So he gets Legos upon Legos upon Legos. Which is fine. He loves them. He plays with them daily. Sorry, my computer does that when I wiggle my mouse. Because I'm doing this on a laptop, and I have a regular mouse plugged into the USB port. Because I prefer that over the touchpad. So yeah, my kid loves Legos, and so I looked at my husband and I was like, there's Lego Land over there, do you want to go? And so we went. And it was alright. I mean, it wasn't bad by any means. Because you walk in and there's this giant giraffe. And then you walk past this big Lego Einstein. And you get your treats or prizes or whatever. I think my son got we all got a keychain. And Riker got them all. He got 2 Lego guys on a keychain and a golden Lego on a keychain, which he thought was the best. Because he had a golden Lego. So he thought it was special. And I didn't tell him any different, because that's the kind of mom I am. If he thinks it's special, he can live in his little world with it. So we went there. We looked at all the things. There's a whole Lego city and things with chains and lights and all sorts of things, which was really cool. There was a Millennium Falcon that looked like it was preparing to take off. It was all animated and stuff. There was this little roller coaster ride, which was like the kiddie ride at the fair, which was fine. Riker thought it was great. And upstairs there's this big old birthday party going on. So there's kids everywhere in all the building stations, which was fine. Riker still had a great time doing all of them. The only downfall was there's this one lady having a fit about something. I don't even remember what. But she kept complaining at the top of her lungs. I think she stepped out of line for the other ride where it was a kinetic energy ride. So it's one of those that, spins around and you have to bicycle your leg or run the pedals for the bicycle chain thing, and it lifts you high up into the sky. I think she had gotten out of line because she had misunderstood something, and so apparently that was the employee's fault. And I was just sitting out there to watch Riker because they could only fit 2 people on the ride. Riker wanted his dad. That's great. So this lady I'd move, and the lady would come up and start complaining to me about it again. It's like, lady, I don't care. You can get back in line. Just do it. The line takes only like 15 minutes to get through. It's not like a Disneyland line to a major attraction that takes an hour. Just get back in line. But she just kept following me and complaining to me, which I should have said something, but there are kids there, and I didn't want to create even more of a scene than this lady was creating. So we did all that, and then we went home to the hotel, and I think we just chilled out for a while. Riker got a new Lego set, so he built that. Because obviously you go to Legoland, you're going to buy a Lego set. At IKEA, he had to have a new water bottle. And then the next day, we were going to go to the planetarium because my son wants to be an astrophysicist. He also wants to be a rock star. So I keep telling him Brian May's both. For those of you who don't know who Brian May is, I'm sorry. But it's the guitarist for Queen. Or he's the guitarist for Queen. And I think he's amazing. I think he plays a 12-string guitar, everybody. I mean, anybody who can play a 12-string guitar is phenomenal. And not only does he play a 12-string guitar, he plays it like a regular guitar. And his regular guitar, electric guitar that he plays, because the 12-string is an acoustic, the regular one he plays, he made himself. He made his guitar. You can't buy that guitar, he made it. He made it with his dad, actually. And I think that is just so spectacular, and that's the kind of person my son will probably be. Because he's very science-minded. And he wants to be a rock star. So he has drums, because he wanted to be a drummer for a long time, but now he's kind of out of it, which sucks, because we've spent a lot of money on drum equipment. By a lot, I mean probably over $1,000 over time. Plus his drum lessons that he doesn't take anymore. And he's got a little guitar. And so I need to learn to play my guitar. So maybe what I'll do is start playing guitar with him. And then I can keep you all updated on my progress. Would you like that? Do you want to watch me learn how to play guitar? If so, leave a like. Because I will do it, if you all want me to. I need to learn how to play the guitar anyway. But that would just be a little accountability. So, we're going to go to the planetarium, which, for a kid who wants to be an astrophysicist, that's a great thing. And so, we went, because my husband has this fear of driving in the city, and I don't drive. I know that sounds bizarre to a lot of you, but I don't drive. I hate driving. It is the worst thing in the world, and I am not a safe driver either. I have ADHD, which is kind of explains these little tangents I go on. I have ADHD, and I can't pay attention to the road for that long. It's boring to me. And so I get distracted by, the deer running across the road, or that blade of grass looks interesting. What is that? Yeah, no, seriously, when we went to St. Louis, there was this grass I kept noticing that I was like, I've never seen that. What is that? And I spent an hour and a half Googling this weedy grass that grows by the side of the road that I had never paid attention to before. I never found it because, internet on the highway is kind of iffy. And then by the time I got home, I wasn't interested. And then I also noticed we have that here. I do wonder what it is, though, because there's much more of it further south than there is where I live. But there is some here. But, so yeah, we went to the commuter train. But my kid is the slowest kid in the universe. And by slow, I mean it can take him 15 minutes to walk across our backyard. Which I don't have a big backyard. I live in a city lot. So it's a standard lot size. It has a 1,100 square feet house on it with enough backyard that you could put a little swing set on. And that would take up the whole yard. So, a little yard. But we live a block and a half away from a park, so it's never been a issue. So it can take him 15 minutes to cross that. So we missed the commuter train. We pulled in to watch it leave. And we were like, okay, so what do we do now? I was like, suggested to him that we drive there because, it's kind of on the outskirts. Well, not the outskirts, but you don't have to drive through the really busy section of the city. And we've got Google Maps and all of that. And so he agreed we would drive there. And so we drive through Chicago, which my husband didn't like. But he's decided Chicago drivers are nicer than Michigan drivers because you put on your turn signal to turn, and they actually let you in. They don't do that here. They don't. You turn on your turn signal, you're still going to fight till you find somebody nice to let you in. And so we drive all the way down there. And all the parking lots are closed. They're all blocked off for all the museums on the museum campus. For some sort of event, I don't even know what. I think it might have been like Taste of Chicago or something, because obviously if we're going to plan a trip, we're going to plan it around something we have no idea is going on. And so we asked the guy where we can park. He's like, not here. And so we're like, okay, fine. We want to go to the Museum of Science and Industry. Let's go there. We will come do the planetarium later or tomorrow morning or whatever. Because, we had the hotel for 2 nights. And we would have had to go back that day, I guess. That would be our second night. So we were like, well, just go to Planet Science of Industry. It'll at least be something. And so we drove there. The Chicago Marathon was going on. There was no parking anywhere. So by the museums, there was some event. All the parking slots are closed. Closed. There's nowhere to park. and the people blocking them are not any helpful. Can't park here. And then we get to the other side, and there's the marathon going on. So eventually we park like half a mile away from the museum, which opens in another hour. So we hang out in the car for an hour, which isn't a big deal. We didn't want to lose the spot. We didn't want to have to look for another spot, so we just parked there. And then come time to go to the museum, we go in. We pay for... We didn't have to pay for the main museum because we have a museum membership to the museum here. But we did have to pay for the extra ones we wanted to see, which we wanted to see the coal mine, a movie about space. I don't even remember what. It was that impressive. And the coal mine. Did I say the coal mine? Yes, I did. So we saw the coal mine, a movie, and the wearable fashion, or wearable technology and fashion exhibit, which was cool. Had stuff like backpacks with pixels on that you could change, and shirts that responded to movement and would flash, which was pretty cool, actually. And stuff like that. There was these ropes you could run through, and they'd play music. Like tattoos you could touch, and they'd make music as well. Everything made music or moved, because it's tech. And we went to the museum. We saw the big model train kit thing they have. We went through the coal mine. That was really cool. I liked it a lot. It was very educational. So we did that. We went through... There's this giant pinball machine display that was really cool. Huge, like bigger than my living room. And then we also went to the weather area. And that was really cool. I do have a lot of videos of that I can show. I'll put those in my next regular floss tube. There's like... They'd have this mist and it would swirl like a tornado. We could go stand in it because it's obviously controlled. And just all sorts of really cool stuff in that area. And Riker really enjoyed that area. And so we didn't even get... We were there for 5 hours. We did not eat lunch because we ate before we went. And we were there for 5 hours. And we didn't even see half that museum. So we're planning a trip again this coming up year to go see the other half. Because, you see half, you want to see the other half. And Riker's at the ideal age for that. So, and then we didn't get to see the planetarium, but that's fine. We have a planetarium that plays the same movies here. It just doesn't have the cool spacewalk that Riker loves. So we will do that all again next year. His school trip last year was to Mackinac. This year it's to Lansing and Detroit. So, But yeah, that got us up to right before his school started. Then Riker's school started, and it's been a lot of drama. Riker's been having... It's not bullying. If anything, he's the bully. I don't know what happened with this. I don't know why it happened. I don't think it'll happen again because we've had a lot of big talks about it. But he was in the bathroom, and another kid walked in, and Riker just punched him because he didn't want him in the bathroom. Riker was just washing his hands, and this kid walks in, and Riker punches him. Like, what? What? So, yeah, we had to deal with that. Taking a drink, so forgive me. And then, so that was in school suspension. And then he told a story at school that one morning he was getting ready for school, and I was in a bad mood, which I can be in a bad mood in the morning. I know this. I'm a grumpy person in the mornings. I'm a night owl, which is why I'm filming this at 11:51. Hey, we're going to be doing this at New Year. I'll do a countdown when we get to that time. But, so he told, I don't know who, somebody at his school, it doesn't matter, that I was angry and yelling, and I threw a frying pan at him, at his dad. I threw a frying pan at his dad. A cast iron frying pan. At his dad. But Riker caught it. And then I was so mad that Riker caught the frying pan that I tried to throw the refrigerator at him. Because, I can pick up a refrigerator and just throw that. I'm She-Hulk, apparently. And so CPS was called. They had to do an investigation. It was... The CPS ladies didn't believe it because his story said I threw a refrigerator. And so I don't think I've ever been as stressed in my life as the moment I got a call from CPS saying that they want to meet with me because there were some allegations. That was scary. That was stressful. And we've had a lot of conversations with Riker about that. Mainly, if you're going to tell stories, use a bad guy that is obviously a bad guy, like Thanos from the Avengers, or whoever, a made-up character. Not somebody real. And also that he's very lucky they had enough questions because they could have not let him come home that night. And I think that's his biggest fear, is not being allowed to be part of the family anymore for some reason. I have no idea where he gets it. Because we've never said that, we've never joked about that. He just has a fear. And it's a valid fear, I guess. I mean, I'd be scared not to have a family anymore, too. So, we haven't had any more problems with that since then. But that was very stressful. And I don't think I did anything but clean and cry for 3 days. Didn't even yell at my kid. I couldn't. What? We've talked about it. He knows better. I mean, we're not even the type of people who spank. We sit down and we talk, and there are consequences for actions. Like for the punching, he was grounded, and he had to write an apology, and he had to write, "I will not punch anybody," 100 times. And he didn't get any TV, he didn't get any Xbox, he wasn't allowed to play with his Legos, he couldn't go to his cousin Dominic's house. So, we do punish. It's just, we're not spankers. So, saying that we threw frying pans at him and whatnot was just hurtful. But, like I said, we're over that now. We're past that hump. So, nah. So it's been a rocky school year. And on top of all of that, we are busy preparing him for middle school, trying to talk to him about what middle school will be like, because it's very different from elementary school. And the reason we're talking so much about it is he does have autism, so he does process things a lot slower. Not that people with autism do process things slow. Not all of them do. He does. So we've been busy explaining that, so he's ready for that transition, because it will be different. And with that, we've had to be discussing that with his school. We've had to be discussing that with his teachers. To figure out what it's like, what it's going to be. We've had to introduce him to the new teachers, the new environment, because he's going into middle school next year, which is crazy. Like, where did my little kid grow up? Oh my gosh. I don't know when that happened. It just happened. But, so we've been preparing for that. And then he also still has his karate classes, which he has graduated from a white belt to a yellow belt. And he was told if he hits at school again, or hits anybody again, when it's not self-defense or any of that, there will be no more karate. No more. Which would make him very upset because he loves his karate. Just take it out. So yeah, he's a yellow belt now. And we just bought all his sparring equipment for Christmas. So he's going to be rocking all his pink sparring equipment, which will be fun. But seriously, the teachers at the school are phenomenal. We were looking at several different schools because I have friends, all their kids are in karate, they all go to different schools. What impressed me with this school was, well, the day we walked in, they were prepared for us. That's always important. One of the instructors, Miss Galley, she took us to a room, went through all the rules of the dojang. It's a Korean form of martial arts. It's called Tang Soo Do, which is what Chuck Norris studied, in case you're wondering. And so, because it's Korean, it's not called a dojo, it's called a dojang. The uniform's not called a gi, it's called a dobak. And all of that. So we went through all of those, and then she was going to give him a basic lesson, basic punches, basic kicks. And she needed to correct his form, and before she touched him, she's like, "Can I touch you to show you how to do this?" And, I mean, that's big. That's big for all kids to learn about consent. Can I touch you? Yes or no? And it's also big for a child with autism. Not so much for mine, but there are some who can't tolerate being touched, especially unexpectedly. He's fine. He has the sensory-seeking form of sensory processing disorder, so he likes firm touches and all of that. There are lots of kids out there who are sensory avoiding, so they avoid that. And so for him to know it was coming and for her to ask, that impressed me, so we signed up with that school. I don't know why I'm talking about this, it's just a rabbit hole. But she did all that, and he liked it, so we started the lessons. The other owner, Mr. Galley, he has a way of, like, being firm and matter of fact that my kid will listen to, no problem. He can say the exact same thing as I can, and it just, Riker's like, oh, okay. Like, one time Riker fell down, and he was starting to be upset and embarrassed, and his little thing. And I can say, Riker, you're fine, just keep going. And Riker will just not be fine. The teacher says it. Yeah, sometimes we fall down, but then we get back up. And Riker's like, oh, okay. Sometimes it just takes a different person, I guess. Oh, and guess what? It's midnight. That's what that little notification was, somebody telling me it was midnight. So, Happy New Year! And there go fireworks in the neighborhood. Woohoo! But it's amazing just how kids will respond to one person who says essentially the exact same thing. But I guess it's situational. Yeah. And that's basically all I have about crap. No. So, Riker's cousins go there. His older cousins, I'm not saying their names. His older cousins, P and B, go there. And one of them is a second-degree black belt. So he's one level away from Master, which he'll get Master after 2 years. And then the younger one is going to be black belt this spring. But when Riker got his new yellow belt, he was so happy because his big cousin P, who he idolizes, was able to tie the new belt on him. And, I don't know why. I don't care why, but ever since he got that yellow belt, it's like a night and day switch. My kid has become responsible. He does his homework without me nagging. He does his chores without me nagging. Most of the time. I mean, I'm not saying he's a miracle worker. He's still a kid. But he does it. Oh, okay. I'm going to be responsible. I don't know what happened. I'm not complaining because it's awesome. It is so awesome not to have to nag him all the time. But yeah, that's a karate for us. Preparing for middle school. Gosh, I don't even think I have anything else to talk about. I'm sure I could, but the video's almost over. There's only a couple more minutes. So, if you like this voiceover style where I just talk to you and the stitching's on the screen, let me know. If you would prefer I do it live, also let me know. Because I do want to do what makes everybody else happy. The only ones that I will for sure be voiceovering is the Creepy Stitchy, because getting all that information together and giving it to you accurately and concisely while stitching and counting will not work. So those will always 100% be voiced over. But if you want the regular Stitch With Me's to be just regular, let me know. If you like this voiceover where I just chat, we will do that too. So just let me know one way or another. If there's anything you think I could improve, let me know. I do have a better microphone. I just forgot to plug it in. I brought it out here and set it down on the chair next to me, and then I just started recording using the computer microphone. And so I just realized that like 10 minutes ago, and I wasn't going to change it after this time because that might be weird, sound-wise. So if the sound's weird, I do apologize, but I will get that corrected for next time. And then if you have any ideas, like if you're really into the Creepy Stitchy, feel free to suggest ideas. I mean, I have the first few planned, but I'm always going to need to add more. So if there's a true crime case you're interested in, or a paranormal case you're interested in, let me know, and I will put it in there. Or I will put it on my list, I should say. Because I do have a list. I'm a planner girl. Of course I have a list. But thank you so much for hanging with me when I was gone for so long. Thank you for all your support. We are over 100 followers now, so when I film my next video, I will announce a giveaway. I have yet to decide what that'll be. But I will figure it out between today and then. And we will do a giveaway for 100 subscribers because I really do appreciate that. I haven't been all that active, so I don't feel like I don't understand why people keep following me about once or twice a week. Even with my long hiatus, people have been following me. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate all of you. I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate your feedback. So just please keep that up. I really appreciate it. And then, just let me know what you think. And again, Happy New Year. And I will talk to you on this weekend. Bye.